If you're not following me on Instagram, please do follow, because we are uploading many behind the scene pictures and videos there. Hit that subscribe button and bell icon so you never miss an update from Neela Bakure Tutorials. We are starting a new chapter now, that is Biodiversity and Conservation. The term biodiversity was given by Rawson. But this term or this biodiversity concept was popularized by Edward Wilson. Now, what exactly we mean by this term, that is biodiversity? Biodiversity means variations. And where are these variations? The variations in the living organisms. In living organisms. Now, where exactly these variations lie? They can be at the species level, they can be at the genetic level, they can be at all the levels of organization. So, these variations are not only at species level, but are at all levels of organization. And we have talked about different levels of organization, lower level of organization to the highest level of organization. And those were, we started with macromolecules. Macromolecules aggregate to form the cell-like structure. Cells form the tissues. Tissues form the organs. Organs form the organ system. And this forms the organism. Organisms together would make up the population. Various populations would make the communities. Then there are various biospheres or ecosystems, both of these together, and then big biospheres are known as the biomes. So below organisms, we said these are the lower levels of organization, and above organism, these are higher levels of organism. So when we say diversity, we are talking about diversity at all these levels. There is variation at the macromolecule level, there is variation at cellular level, tissue level, organ system, every level there are variations in the living organisms. And all those variations together, if we want to study, then we call it the diversity part. So this is what is exactly the diversity thing which we want to study. Now, let us talk about a number. What is that number of living organisms which are found in the world or on the globe? And how many those organisms do we actually need to study? So, according to IUCN, in 2004, the number which was given was that the organisms which have been found out, have been discovered, have been studied, have been recorded, that number is 1.5 million. These many organisms have been studied. Now this IUCN is International Union for Conservation of Nature. That is IUCN. And its headquarters is located at place called Gland in Switzerland. So this is where the headquarters is of IUCN. And according to IUCN, the number is 1.5 million. Various scientists, various ecologists, they have also estimated that the number of living organisms. According to them, this number is very, very less, which we have found out so far. A bigger number is yet to be discovered. And some scientists have given the number to be 20 million to 50 million living organisms on the globe. But according to IUCN, we have only so far 1.5 million. A very scientific and logical estimate was given by Robert May, and that number is 7 million. And why we are saying that this is a logical number? These organisms which we have discovered so far are coming from the area on the globe which we have already surveyed. Now, there are areas which are still to be surveyed. A great part of Amazon, a great part of ocean. We have not been able to go up to certain depths in the ocean. And there are many, many organisms which probably are still there. So this is why we are calling it a logical and a scientific estimate. So according to Robert May, 7 million should be the number, out of which 1.5 million we have discovered so far. Now, out of this 1.5 million which we have found out so far, about, or rather slightly more than 70% are animals. About 22% are plants, and this includes plants means algae, fungi, bryophytes, angiosperms, gymnosperms, all these included in 22%. So the remaining should be the prokaryotes, that is the bacteria and all. So far, maximum organisms which we have found out so far are animals. So this is the number which we have reached so far. Now, when we study diversity, as we said, we can study diversity at all these levels, but there are only 3 major levels in which we will be studying it. So the major levels where we will be talking about this diversity, the first is genetic diversity, which is also known as alpha diversity. Here, there is a variation at the gene level. We'll take up this later with examples. But here, in one species, there are variations at the gene level. Then next is species diversity, which is known as beta diversity. Here, in a particular ecosystem, how many species exist? So number of species in a particular area. This is what is the beta diversity or species diversity. And then the third level is at the ecosystem level. Ecological diversity, which is also known as the gamma diversity. So here we will talk about how many different ecosystems are there, and this is like at a bigger level. So from the gene level, we are going to the ecosystem level, and these are the three main levels where we will be talking about this diversity. So in this chapter, what we exactly want to study is what are these different types of animals, what is the percentage of various groups of these animals and plants, which countries have the maximum diversity and what are the factors for those, and why should we be conserving these organisms, and if yes, then what are those methods. So in the next part, we will take up these three levels of diversity in detail.